Welcome back. In this lesson we will be seeing the range function in action. It's another built-in function that Python gives us. Now, although we'll only see it really with the for loop today, that's not the only use case for the range function. So how does range work? Now, we can give it either 1, 2 or 3 arguments. And if we give it all 3 arguments, we're giving it a place to start, a place to finish or stop, and also a step. So these are typically always going to be integers that we give to the range function. Now, the start is inclusive and the endpoint is exclusive. So that is different from what we saw with the randint method, which we saw a few lessons back. So that might be a bit confusing, but once you've used this a few times, I'm sure it'll become second nature. So let's see a few examples. That's always what helps drive these things home. Now, one thing I'll point out is that we're not able to simply print out a range. I'll show you what happens if we try and do that. Now, what I'm doing here is giving the range function a solitary argument. So when we do that, the start point is assumed to be 0. So what we're giving it there is the end point. So because that's exclusive, we won't get 11. So we'd get 0 to 10. So you might think this line would print the numbers 0 to 10, but it doesn't. It just gives us that. So if we want to print the numbers 0 through 10, we can do that using a for loop. If we say for x in range 11, and then just say print x, that's what we'll get. And if we do give the start point as 0 there, then that makes no difference. So if your starting point is 0, then it's entirely optional whether you give that to the range function. Now, if you want to use the third argument, the step, let's just show you that. Let's start at 100, let's go to 301 and go in steps of 10. So we get the numbers 100 through to 300 printed, going up 10 each time. Okay, so we can also count backwards. Let's start at 100. Let's go to 49, so we'll get everything up, down to and including 50 if we go in a step of -1. And let's just scroll up, and there you go, you can see we get everything printed there as expected. Now, the range function would obviously be limited if all we could do was print the loop variable onto the screen. What we're doing when we set up a for loop with a range is basically we're telling the for loop how many times to run. Within the for loop, we can obviously do anything we want, including if statements, anything else that we've seen so far. Okay, so that is how the range function operates there. I think I'll just finish the video off by printing out a times table, which I'm sure will be a riveting viewing. So let's do the 15 times table. So we'll start at 1. And we'll give 13 as the finish point, and we don't need a step for this one. And all we'll do within the loop is a simple formatted string. And we'll just say x times 15 is, and then in here we'll just say x times 15. And ta-da! So that's the range function. Now, next up, we're going to introduce a new fundamental data structure called the list. And these can be quite powerful, so they will open up a whole vista of functionality for us. So please join me for that one, and feel free to ask any questions in the comments below. See you soon. Thank you.